What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Damien Reads Comics. Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to the 3 new subscribers that I got to my channel. I do want to start giving, shout outs to the people that subscribe to the channel. So the first one, this was actually the very first subscriber I got, and shout out to him for sure. And he goes by Daz the Comic Key Chaser. And then after that, we got R. Lee, and then after that we got T. Bus. So 3 subscribers, so technically 4 because I got somebody else that I don't really want to mention. But so 4 subscribers so far. I appreciate that. It means a lot, and it means a lot knowing that people are actually watching my videos and subscribing, that they're interesting enough. So anyway, shout out to those people that subscribed. So today we're going to continue on with the boys, and this is Omnibus Volume 2, hardcover edition. I do want to say hardcover edition because I actually didn't notice that there's actually some omnibuses out there that are not hardcovers. One in particular is the 6th Gun. I think only comes in paperback, and they're omnibuses. And yeah, so this is the boys hardcover omnibus volume 2. Does come with a nice slipcase. This is one of the guys at Herogasm from one of the issues. So this does have 792 issues, and it collects issues 1 through 37 through 47 of the boys, and then the boys Herogasm 1 through 6, and then the boys Highland Laddie 1 through 6. Oh wow, there's a lot. Anyway, okay, so it's written by Garth Ennis, illustrated by John McCrea and Keith Burns. Let's see, Carlos Esqueda, Darick Robertson, I already said John McCrea, Darick. It's because it kind of breaks it down to who did what issues. Richard P. Clark, Russ Braun. Additional inks by Keith Burns and John McCrea and Hector Esqueda. Colored by Tony Avina. Lettered by Simon Boland. And series covers by Darick Robertson and Tony Avina. Book designed by Alexis Pearson. I think it's his person. There we go. And edited by Joe Ray Bandit. Wow, Ray Bandit. Cool. It is published by Dynamite Comics. And it does have a beautiful eye. As you can see here, though, actually, it's just the way it was. But it does have a beautiful, it's sewn binding, and doesn't have a beautiful eye. So what we're going to do here is we're going to crack this open, talk about the story arcs in here a little bit. Before I go any further, guys, this is going to give a little bit of spoilers to the other books. So if you haven't read the first, I guess you can say the first 30 issues, stay away from this review until you read it, because it is going to give a little bit of spoilers of the story arc, because I'm going to say something. I'm not going to give too much away of like the endings and things like that, but I'm going to say certain things that's probably going to be spoilers from the first book. So if you haven't read issues 1 through 30 and or the hardcover Omnibus Volume 1, stop this video, please, and go read that first and then come back to this. Please, guys. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. That being said, let's go ahead and crack this open. Alrighty, guys. So here is the Omnibus without the dust jacket. It's exactly like the first one. Nice glossy with the blood splatter, and it does say Garth Ennis, Darick Robertson, and the back of it just says, the spine, it says Dynamite, the boys hardcover Omnibus Volume 2, and the back of it is nothing else other than the same design as this. Let's go ahead and crack this open. I'm gonna have to kind of flip through the first couple pages, maybe issues of Herogasm, because it does start with Herogasm. Now, before I go any further with the contents of this, in my previous video, I was actually watching it, and I got some things wrong. I talked about Madam Director Reiner. Her name is just Director Reiner, and she is the head of the CIA. So that's one. Also, I did say that Huey's first girlfriend name was Annie. Her name is not Annie. Her name is Robin. So I know I'm probably going to get slack for, or I'm probably going to get a lot of grief for that on that video. But when I did go back and see it, I was like, oh, okay, I messed this up. Let me make this. Also, the guy that works, the head guy that is kind of in the mix of Va America, his name is not Va America. I just called him that. I thought that's what his name was, but he so far is nameless. He's still nameless in this book, but Vought America is a corporation. It's not a name. So now that I got all that out of the way, let's talk about this and what it contains. Omnibus Volume 2 collects Herogasm, the Self-Preservation Society, Nothing Like It in the World, Le Plum de Ma Tante, it's French, I can't even pronounce all that, The Instant White Hot Wild, What I Know, The Innocents Believe, and Highland Laddie. Now with Herogasm, let me see, yeah, here we go. And there's bonus material in the back too. So in Herogasm, wow, I can't really show that much. In Herogasm, the first 6 issues, or the first, I guess you can say the first story arc, and the 6 issues of Herogasm is every year, the heroes, all the superheroes, take a vacation. They go somewhere secluded, and they come here where they do anything and everything they want to do, including a lot of sexual acts. It's kind of gross, the kind of things that they do, especially the Homelander. Like he has sexual acts with Soldier Boy. It's kind of crazy. But there's a lot of nudity in it, so I can't show too much. In specific, this is the best time for the boys to kind of infiltrate to see if they can get any information. More specifically, this issue, or this story arc, kind of explains how the Highlander came to be, how America, like what he's doing to kind of take over everything, what kind of horrible person people are, how Vic the Veep became, head of everything, like, because they capture a secret agent that is appointed to watch over. He's not even a secret agent. He's just an agent working for Vic the Veep. He kind of the boys kind of kidnap him and interrogate him, and he kind of spills the beans on everything. So you learn a lot with this. You also kind of learn a little bit more of the way the Highlander is with the guy that's in charge of Vought America. Like he doesn't really like him, but that Vought America guy really tells the 7 what to do and all the heroes what to do. And this is kind of it kind of there's a lot of stuff going on in Herogasm, but more in all, it's just about the boys kind of see, I can't show that page. This one's not too bad. It kind of does, give a lot of the backstory of, what Vought America is and how Vic the Veep, came to be, how they want to be the next president and things like that. This one's not too bad. It does give a little bit of background of Annie too, a little bit, meaning that she's just not really liking what's going on with the heroes. Now at this point, Annie and Huey are, I'm going to keep calling them Petite Huey because small Huey, wee Huey. But Annie and Huey are together. They're a couple. But she doesn't know that he's with the boys. And he doesn't know that she's a superhero, let alone part of the 7. And so right now they think that they're out, doing a job and stuff like that. And I can't show that one. I can't really show that one. This one's not too bad. This is when you find out that the Homelander and Soldier Boy kind of had like a sexual interaction, which is weird. This is not too bad. This is, Annie and Huey talking on the phone. They're kind of lying to each other about what they're doing, but this is when Annie starts really, second guessing. Like, she already started second guessing that she didn't want to be part of the 7, but this is really where you kind of found out where it hit the nail on the coffin. She just doesn't want to be part of the 7. She doesn't want to be a superhero at all. And so yeah, some things happen with the boys. Oh, something really interesting happens in this issue with Black Noir and Huey. That I don't want to give that away, but he doesn't tell anybody because it's like Black Noir kind of takes him and does something to him, and he says a few words to him. But after that, he doesn't say anything else and leaves, and nobody else sees it, and only Huey and Black Noir were there, and Huey doesn't say anything about it. So I can't really show that one. This is the cover for the dust jacket. It's just a random superhero doing drugs at Herogasm. This right here was kind of weird. Like the Homelander, he goes up in the sky and pretty much destroys a plane and kills people because he can. And that kind of plays a bigger part later on. I can't really show this one or that one. this event kind of takes place after the events that the boys did with Teenage Kicks and with G-Wiz. Like, they're taking all these, superheroes out. So this kind of takes a place after that. And they're kind of, oh, Jesus, sorry, I gotta flip through that one real quick and that one real quick. So this is kind of like the aftermath, them kind of enjoying themselves, even though it's kind of a yearly thing. But this is kind of where the Vought guy kind of, was like, you know what, we got to do something. We know who it was that brought them down, G-Wiz and Teenage Kicks. We got to strike back. So they actually do. They strike back. The Vought America and the superheroes kind of strike back at the boys. This is the thing that happens with Huey and Black Noir. But let's see. I kind of want to flip through this kind of a little bit. Oh, this is like during the whole interrogation thing. You start finding out more. Hold on, I kind of missed that. This is like the interrogation thing of everything. And they kind of bring down the people that knew that the boys were there. Nobody knew that the boys were here at all, except Black Noir, because he obviously took Huey. And because of that, Vought America knew. And so they finally do something about it. This is all the after events of the boys trying to take out the people, so nobody knows they were there. Things like that. Here's Vic the Veep. They kill this guy, and they leave Vic the Veep alone because he's dumb. He's not gonna remember who's who. So then we start a different story arc, because that was all of Herogasm. This next story arc is kind of amazing to me, because in the first book, I was a little disappointed that they didn't really give backstories to the boys, anybody. Like, we knew a little bit about Huey and who he was, his backstory with his ex Robin, why he hates superheroes. We don't really know nothing about Butcher, aside that he was from the military, and there was another guy named Mallory. We don't really know nothing about MM, Frenchie, and or the female. So this story arc starts up where a superhero team is tasked with taking down the boys. But unfortunately, the boys dismantle them. They messed them up. And this was right here, like, you start seeing that Huey kind of starts enjoying it a little bit. And then because that went down, the Vought America guy starts, thinking about something more. And they got to do it again, but with different people. And that's when they bring in the superhero team called Payback. And you learn about one of the stronger superheroes, this guy right here. Oh man, this guy's like almost like a Homelander, almost. Not really, but he destroys the female. Even though she's a badass, this guy like ruins her and sends her to the hospital. And you learn about this guy and his backstory, but yeah, this was a brutal fight. This right here, it's finally where they want to kind of reimagine the Seven. They want to give him different costumes, and Stardust's not really liking it, especially the kind of especially what they want her to wear, because it's like this little tiny like G-string thong, which hopefully if I get to, I'll show you guys. But this is where Frenchie goes and tells the boys what happened to the female, and it's right here where we find. Oh, here it is. Look at that. It's so sexy, kind of, actually. Starlight in that little, like, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a slingshot bikini type of thing. Anyway. Oh, there's a little bit more of it. It's not really nudity, but that's sexy. But I really enjoyed this part of it because, there's a quick fight interaction between the boys and Payback. Especially with this guy right here. This guy is just a menace. Like, he destroys almost all of them. Like, the boys get effed up pretty bad in this one, but not to the point where they don't take down a few of the Payback. Eventually, they take down all of Payback, in some way, shape, or form. But the reason I liked it so much, this arc, is because once they finally defeat Payback and this guy, the big Russian guy. He's like a Nazi guy. This is where Butcher just takes out the rest of Butcher single-handedly took down 3. Yeah, 3 from Payback. It's crazy. Black Noir telling her she has to wear this. He doesn't even speak, but he's like putting it up there. But after everything that's happened, see, like, yeah, this guy right here, you get like a backstory of who he was. They don't really show. I'm pretty sure they don't show like any flashbacks of him, but you do get like like they do talk about who he was. But they eventually bring him down, and who helps bring them down? Love Sausage, the guy from Russia, the guy that helped the boys bring down Nina from Russia. So I guess it did play a little bit of a part, like, because when I first read the Omnibus Volume 1, I was like, what the heck, this whole Russia thing? You know, maybe showing that they're superheroes other than in the U.S., but they did bring back Love Sausage from there, and that's pretty cool. And after that, like, during the recovery, you start... oh, actually, there's an interaction with Butcher and Soldier Boy. Like, he gets a lot of information. But after that, this right here is what I really, really enjoyed. I'm going to kind of flip through this pretty quickly because I don't want the videos to be too long. But you get the backstories of MM. His backstory, the way he became a superhero, what he has to do to keep up with his mom, why he's called Mother's Milk. It was just so amazing. I loved his backstory, actually, especially his dad. So I'm going to kind of go through this pretty quickly. But you guys can see here the art's beautiful. And then... and it kind of shows how Butcher kind of recruited him as well, which is awesome. And then finally after that, we get the introduction to... oh, and this whole bridge thing is crazy. Like, it has to do with 9/11. In real life with us, 9/11, the planes hit the towers. Well, in this one, the superheroes kind of helped, but they kind of didn't. Because instead of the planes, they got brought down in certain places, but one of them came and destroyed this bridge on the way to the Twin Towers, and there was a whole bunch of people there that died, and it was one of MM's like horrible, like, traumatic events, as you can see here. And they talk about that whole incident a lot of times, the 9/11 thing. They say 9/11, but it has to do with the bridge and not the towers, which is kind of interesting, actually. But then we get the backstory of Frenchie, the Frenchman. His backstory is actually pretty cool, actually, especially with his girlfriend. He's always been a freaking monster. Like, he's like a killing machine. But then he, like, after his war was over, he came back and tried to live a normal life. And certain events played out with the girlfriend, with his mom, with his dad, that made him hate certain people, and where he wanted redemption. And he finally met up with Homelander, or it doesn't really, not Homelander. He finally met up with Billy Butcher. It doesn't give you the whole reasoning behind. Or not the reasoning, but the whole, like, them interacting and them recruiting each other. But, yeah, he meets up with them. And then we get the backstory of the female. This one was kind of sad to me, but at least we got the interaction with her and the Frenchman, why they're so close, you know, who she is, how she grew up to be. It was interesting. I'm so glad that the Frenchman took her under the wing and treats her like a daughter more than anything. Like, this was so... there was, like, hardly no words spoken, and yet there was so much love between them two, like father-daughter type of thing. I loved it so much. So then we get onto the next story arc, What I Know. This right here is when Butcher finally sees the Seven. He looks at Starlight. He sees a few videos of her, and then eventually Butcher kind of catches... let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesus. This interaction with Frenchie and the female is so awesome. Like, he's trying to give her an outlet of not to be such a monster-killing machine. and kind of tries to give her little things to do so to keep her mind occupied. But this right here is when Butcher finally sees who Huey's dating, and he finally realizes, okay, she's a soup and she's part of the 7. And when that happens, I start really disliking Butcher in this. I really did stop disliking him, because instead of asking Huey straight up what's going on, he sends him kind of like on a suicide mission with Super Duper. He sends him here to, with these to kind of do reconnaissance with these superheroes, get like information about them, knowing that there's going to be like a really big super powered superhero coming in, and knowing the kind of person Huey is, he's going to try to help these people. He's going to confront the big superhero that comes and takes over and becomes a team leader. And with that, give me one second. There he is, Mel Chemical. Pretty much like I said, Butcher's like setting him up to take a downfall, maybe to even get him killed, because Butcher thinks that Huey's working with the soups, but he doesn't realize that, he doesn't know that Butcher doesn't know that Huey doesn't know that Starlight's a soup. And while this is happening, and while Huey's away at, with Super Duper and trying to help them and being who he is, MM is doing background information, and because he doesn't understand why Butcher sent Huey out there. So he does some undercover work and finds out that, hey, Huey's not working for Va America. He doesn't know that Starlight's a superhero, and he confronts Butcher about this. And by the time Butcher, realizes all this, he goes and saves Huey. So that's kind of this story arc right here. And in this whole story arc, we also got kind of Starlight trying to maybe tell Huey the truth about everything, because right before he left on this little excursion with Super Duper, they kind of told each other they love each other, and because of that, they kind of want to tell each other everything and not keep his secrets. So she doesn't know how to tell Huey that she's a superhero, so she wants to write it up, but she eventually doesn't do it. But this is MM kind of doing his background investigation behind Billy Butcher's back, and they eventually confront each other. And they confront each other, and then that's finally when. Oh, okay, Jesus. This is the confrontation after Butcher saved Huey from Mel Chemical, and MM finally kind of have a conversation about everything, why he sent him there, about Starlight, her being a soup, and things like that. So, and then we finally move on to the next story arc, Believe. It's kind of a crucial moment in this storyline, because it's where a team of superheroes, they all kind of conform here, and it's a chance for the boys to get more information, where they get this information, and certain things happen in this, which is kind of interesting, actually, the little things that do happen. In this story arc, this is where I kind of, like I said, I just started hating Butcher more and more, because he's telling Huey that, I'm sorry, you're not this kind of person. You're this kind of person. You can tell me everything. You're my mate. You're my boy. I got your back. If you have anything you want to talk about, you can tell me anything. And I feel like he's kind of playing him to his, I feel like he's pretty much telling him what he wants to hear. There we go. And that's why it was such a crucial moment in The Boys. And when that happens, this right here is when Starlight finally tells Huey that she's a superhero. This was a very pivotal part of this story, actually, because then we really find out backstory of Huey. We move on to the story arc of him. He goes back to his hometown, and he's trying to get over Starlight. During that time, we meet his old friends, we meet his parents, we get a little background of where he's from, but we get the redemption arc of him being so mad at her, where they make up, and they try to figure things out. Things are not fixed but they're to the point where they can be together and figure things out. And that story arc was such amazing, so amazing. Right here, this is all the story arc of him leaving. The one thing I do want to say though is we meet this old guy in this story arc that Huey just talks to a lot, and eventually we find out who he is, and he actually plays a big part of who the seven, or not the seven, but the boys are. We hear of a guy named Mallory, but nobody wants to talk about Mallory, and we may or may not know. I don't want to give that part away, but he might come back. He might come back. So that's this story arc. This is them talking, trying to, reconcile and be together. What's crazy is that she pretty much tells, we get the whole backstory of her, of how she became a superhero, what she went through. She tells Huey everything, but he hasn't told her everything yet. He hasn't told her that he's part of the boys, that he's trying to take down the seven. She knows about Robin. She knows where he comes from, but he doesn't tell her everything. That's what I didn't like. Like, I love this story arc, but not so much to the point because they didn't tell each other everything. She opened up everything. She's freaking amazing, but he didn't. And I don't know why, because it kind of, I finished this up and, I haven't started the third one yet, but this guy right here. Vigors. Alistair Vigors. I think that's just a random name because you find out later on he gives a phone number to Huey. And it says Mallory. So I don't know if he is Mallory or he gave a phone number to contact Mallory. So anyway, this is when Huey says goodbyes to his parents. I think they're going back. They're going somewhere. I just don't know because it doesn't say. And they're kind of happy together again. And that's kind of where this ends a little bit. And there's this short story at the end, which I can't really show because there's a lot of nudity in it. But it's like 1 or 2 pages. But then after that, we get sketches. These sketches are awesome. I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed this because I was kind of disappointed that the first book didn't give any backstory to the boys. We still don't have a backstory to who, a Billy Butcher. We got kind of a backstory for Huey. We got a backstory for Mother's Milk. We got a backstory to the Frenchman. We got a backstory to the female. Hell, we even got a backstory of the Highlander. We got a backstory of Starlight. But aside from that, we still haven't got one from Billy Butcher, Queen Maeve, Jack the Jupiter, A-Train, or the Deep. So maybe they're going to go into it in the next one, maybe not. I think the only person that they need to get, do a backstory for is Butcher. Because Queen Maeve, she doesn't really, she's kind of there. A-Train, whatever. Jack the Jupiter, and A-Train and the Deep, whatever, right? So if they don't give backstories for those, cool. But I mean, they give backstories to the main important characters. We still don't know who the dude is that works for America is. So that'd be interesting if they kind of reveal that. We don't know a backstory to Black Noir either, who he is, because he doesn't talk. But the key figures we got a backstory to mostly, except for Billy Butcher and maybe Black Noir and maybe Queen Maeve, and the guy that works for America, the big honcho guy. These sketches are pretty cool. I like it. How they go from sketches to like pencils from this to then adding color. That's so awesome to me. Terror is such a freaking awesome dog. Oh. I know I shouldn't leave it here, but I'm going to move it now. That right there, there's actually because I never knew this either. This kind of explains, this omnibus explains how the boys are able to do surveillance and have videos and mic at the 7 headquarters. Because like I thought to myself, how did they go there with all the security. How do they get up there and put the all that security and the bugs and stuff? You find out that Queen Maeve is the one that did it for them. She went to the legend and the boys for help because of something, and those photos are there. Those photos got out that she didn't want to get out, but there's like a deeper meaning as to why, maybe, because it doesn't make sense. You know that she likes to mess around with people, and that the boys can see it. So those pictures doesn't really make a difference if people saw them, because the boys can see all this, so it doesn't make a difference. But you do find out that Maeve is kind of a rat, maybe, I guess you can say. An informant for the boys. But you don't know in what aspect. So that's it, guys, right there. Then you get the... Oh, you don't even get a biography. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. Let's go ahead and do a rating for this and go from there. Alrighty, guys, so let's go ahead and give this a rating. To do a quick recap, this is The Boys Omnibus Volume 2 by Garth Ennis and Darick Robertson, published by Dynamite Comics. Sewn binding. So what do I give this as a rating? I think I'm going to stick to, like, I think I gave the first one a 4. I think I'm going to continue giving it a 4. And so far, between Omnibus Volume 1 and Volume 2, I think the story arc so far, I'm going to give it a 4. And I'm almost trying to give it a 3, though, the story arc, just because I feel like some stories are kind of pointless, and it's going on a little bit too much. But at the same time, they kind of feel a purpose in the greater scheme of things so far. So I'm going to give this one and this book alone a 4. Even though I kind of still hate the fact that I have to get my phone out and see what the Frenchman is saying. I hate doing that. It's just, it's repetitive. But yeah, I think I'm going to give this a 4. And because I did love that they give this the backstories to a few individuals. If they didn't give the backstories and they'll just continue the story, I probably would have given it a 3. So I'm going to give this book a 4 rating, which means I'm going to keep it. I'm going to do a reread. The story so far together, I kind of want to say I want to give it a 3.5, but I don't like doing this, so that's why I'm rounding up. It's just because I kind of feel like it is kind of dragging a little bit now. Like I'm happy that I'm going to book 3 and it's almost over. And I kind of want to see how it ends. You know, I'm kind of done with it already. So when something does that, like, my rating starts going down. So yeah, I'm giving this a 4. I do recommend it. If you guys are a fan of Garth Ennis, his writing and things like that, definitely give it a read. I highly recommend it. Shout out to Gem Mint Collectibles, where I got these from. He's been freaking awesome. He's been, you know, helping me with trying to build my channel up a little bit more. So shout out to him. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys been enjoying the videos that I've been putting out. If you guys read this already and read the Boys series, let me know in the comments down below. Also, give me recommendations on what you guys think I should read next. If I have it, I'll let you guys know. If I don't have it, I'll check it out. And if it's something I might not like, I'll let you guys know that as well. So, next after this, we're gonna do obviously the Boys Omnibus Volume 3, and then after that, I believe Lady Killer comes next. Which we're going to start doing previews for instead of, you know, me telling you this. I'm going to do like 4 or 5 minute video of previews of the book so you guys can see what I'm going to do next. And hopefully you guys, you know, like that. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys like this. Leave a like. If you guys haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. All that being said, guys, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys on the next one.